Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
9 weird things British people do that they think is normal.
Hi everyone, it's me. As a Canadian who has lived in the UK for the last 7 years, I have noticed that the Brits do some weird things that they think are
Man, that's too late to do this video. In 7 years, I feel like you do the weird things at that point. Like to do this video maybe like a year or two living in the country, you
yeah.
can still. But at a certain point, you adapt and you start doing the
Yeah,
weird
I
shit.
think.
So at 7 years, because like if I had to like do a video right now, oh, the weird things Americans do as a European, I could not even. I'm sure like if somebody did it, well, and that's kind of what we do. Like we watch a video and say, oh yeah, this was a thing. Oh yeah, but like right now, at the top of my head, I don't even know if I would be able to come up with that.
are normal. So today, I am going to share their
Oh, I know
secret.
it's a weird thing that Europeans do that they think is normal. Like, it's not normal here in the States. Is
What?
drinking water from the faucet. That is so
Oh,
weird.
tap water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
drinking
that's
tap
very
water.
normal. Also, I think walking barefooted in Europe is very acceptable.
Oh, this was so
Yeah.
odd for me.
So without further ado, let's go. Make sure to leave a comment down below. What is a weird thing that British people do and they think it's normal? Maybe you do it. Do you do anything weird? Let me know. Number one, it is totally reasonable to buy a caterpillar cake. And everyone knows who it is. So this little British quirk came up around Christmas time. My mom was here for a visit, and I had to explain who Colin the caterpillar is. I actually made my own Colin the caterpillar cake on Patreon a couple years ago.
Oh, it looked like a Yule log.
But my Colin went about as well as you'd expect.
We only have that for Christmas time.
I just think it is so cute and funny and silly that as a population, we all know who the caterpillar is. You don't even have to say it. Or you could just talk about Colin. I'm gonna go out and get a Colin. And everybody knows. He's just part of the family until you eat him, of course.
We have that here.
But I wouldn't consider that's weird. That's just a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing weird about it. Like I'm sure there's some foods, here.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a pub sub
Yeah, yeah.
from Puppets.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a sub, right?
Yeah.
And in UK, sub, what Subway?
What is up? What is up?
I don't know, but here, yeah, I don't. That's not weird.
A weird thing that Brits do that they think is normal is consume some of the most creative sandwiches I've ever seen. Can I interest you in a chip buddy? Yes, that is a sandwich where the inside are chips.
I feel like we've seen it somewhere.
Just like the name implies. Now, again, I do have to
Is
say,
there
I
anything
made
else
one of
with
these
it?
on Patreon, and I get it. I'm not making fun. I totally get it. There is something absurd about a chip buddy.
I mean, we do that with burgers. You can put fries in the burger.
You know what we've seen?
What?
I remember when there was like I think a couple that she was showing her husband like her the foods that she ate growing up. I think that was one, but she was American actually, with the Italian guy.
She eats potato with bread. Potato fries with bread.
I think it was her.
That was weird.
The one, remember the video with the Lunchables? The guy was trying Lunchables for the first time.
Yeah.
I think that was her.
Agree, but we can also agree that they're fabulous. You could also have a pot noodle sandwich.
No,
Or what about a fish finger sandwich? The Brits
not bad.
have just an unbelievable.
Okay, I can agree with this weird point. Sandwiches, I guess, are kind of like standard. Like thinking here and in Lithuania, they're kind of like it's the same stuff you put. You don't really get creative with your sandwiches, but nothing wrong with getting creative with your sandwiches if you feel like it.
Amount
What we put in
sandwiches
them that's creative.
No, I'm not saying if we don't get creative here in the States. Like
What's an example of creative sandwich?
noodle sandwich.
Oh no.
No, exactly. Like we don't do that, but I guess technically there's nothing wrong with that. If you like want to fuck around and get creative with a sandwich, why not? You know.
Of course, lots of people use different words for sandwich depending where in the UK you are. I just think it's fabulous that you could put whatever you want between two slices of bread and call it a day. Number
What
three,
was weird that I remember the one girl, she said every time she's eating, she needs to have fries, like with pizza and fries.
Oh.
Fries seems to
pet
be very
names
important in
from
UK.
strangers. Now, I remember very vividly when I first moved to the UK, I think I even talked about it in a video where it made me feel really uncomfortable when strangers would call me love or sweetheart or any of that kind of thing, because I just inherently.
But that's very. I get. Well, she's Canadian. I guess it's not normal in Canada. Here in the States, it's very common. Honey, sweetheart, very common in the, like in the
Mama.
grocery store. Yeah.
viewed that as condescending. That's just, if you heard that in North America, sometimes
No.
that's how it comes across.
Nope. In North America, definitely not. In Canada, maybe, but here in the States, it's very, very common.
At least in the South.
In the South, yeah, it's super common.
But of course, here, that is not what it's all about. So it is not uncommon to hear a whole variety of pet names from complete strangers, and oftentimes people you will never see again. Love, lovely, sweetheart, duck.
She don't like sweetheart.
Yes. Pet.
She don't like
I mean, there's
sweetheart.
so many. And while it kind of threw me off at first, now I absolutely love it. I think it's very sweet. It's just sweet. And yes, they can be used in a condescending way if this
Yeah, it's always on how you say it, not what's being said, but how it's said. So it's,
calls for it, yeah, it could be done in a negative way, but typically it's not. I was at a cafe the other day, and the woman serving me said something like, "Here you go, love." It's so nice. Or the other day, I was getting a parcel delivered, and the postie, what a great word. The postie was like, "You have a great day, sweetheart." He's like, you know what?
Now, I need
I
an
will
explanation
have a
for
great-
duck.
Yeah,
I don't think
duck, I don't know about
Why are you
duck.
calling me a duck?
Yeah, duck, I don't know.
Does this
I
give
just think
duck?
it's really nice, and I do wish that Canada did it. You know, like you may hear the odd.
I feel like
pet
they
name,
do it. They say,
the odd
say-
pet name.
don't they
but
say,
it's
my...
really not done in
That's Aussie.
Oh.
Canada or the U.S. On
No, in US it is it's very common. Like every day you hear that.
a day-to-day basis, but here it's just, love, lovely, sweetheart, duck. I love it. I just think it's very sweet, and it's just a
Like
nice
at a restaurant, they're always like, especially if it's an older lady, it's you always gonna be like, "Oh, sweetheart," all day.
thing.
Yeah.
Next up, number 4. Is it number 4? I hope it is. For number 4, I would like to show you a clip from one of my videos. Now, this was from a vlog that I did when I went to my first ever beer festival, or a hops festival, and this was in the video, and I was like, I don't know what that is. Can somebody help me? And everybody in the comments was like, it's Morris dancing. Obviously. So I had a little bit of a Google. The earliest known and surviving English written mention of Morris dance is dated to 1448, and it is described as a form of English folk dancing. Fascinating. I think it goes without saying that I never saw that in Canada or America. I've just never
they have
seen
their own
it.
dance.
But saying that though,
Yeah, that
Yeah, their own traditional
traditional dances, yeah, it just doesn't go back. That the countries are younger, so there isn't like something to go back 500 years or 600 years.
I have seen it multiple times here in the UK, especially at like festivals or events or like days out, those types of
Yeah,
things.
I would
And
say
while
that
it
is common in Europe overall, not just UK overall. These traditional dances at certain times, like when there's like a traditional day, like once a year, 2-3 times a year that people dance that. We've seen it in Greece a lot. Yeah.
kind of weird when you look at it. You got some men sort of like slapping their feet, and usually like someone's got a stick, and maybe there's like bells and stuff. And you're
They
like,
do
this is
that for
kind of
like
weird.
military. When there's football events, you see the dancers.
Tap dancing,
there's
yeah.
specific dances that they do.
Appreciate the fact that people still do it. And honestly, one of the things I love about living in the UK is that you are surrounded by history. And a lot of times I mean that by the buildings and the architecture and that kind of stuff, but also with stuff like this. Yeah, when you look at it on the face of it, it's a bit silly and it's a bit weird. But I love that this is like history and people are still doing it. Number 5, I simply call suns out, shirts off. So here in the UK, how can I describe this? Well, quite simply, when the sun comes out, the men take their shirts off.
Yeah, I would say that would be probably weird for you. It's much more like, yeah, in the summertime, a lot of people are shirtless. Here, it's not common. Initially, I even thought maybe this was illegal, so I had to Google it. It's not illegal. Men can wear
At the beach,
anywhere they can be shirtless.
you don't get no service if you're shirtless.
Right. In Europe, it's very, very common to just be shirtless. Like in the summertime, particularly. Yeah, like yeah, it's that
Like in the
would be
store, shirtless.
Yeah, there's no requirements. I've gone plenty of the time. Like we play volleyball, you just go get to the store. Yeah.
Off. Whether they should or not, it's not part of the question. Now, where I'm from in Southern Ontario, we have some wonderful weather. I know people don't think about that. We have wonderful weather, like late spring into the summer and then like into the fall. Beautiful weather, like 30 degrees. But if you were to walk around a small town in Ontario, like where I'm from, you would never ever see a man walking through town without his shirt on. You're not going to see it. The only time
We
you
would
will
think
see
it's
like
a drunk or like person from the beach beach or they were just
Yeah,
playing a game,
that
but they're like,
that you if you
You
were to
need the
make this
context,
video
yeah.
in Europe, you would definitely mention this too.
Shirts off is
That is
at
a
the
thing.
beach where it should be. But no, there is a portion of the British population that participates in suns out, shirts off. The minute the sun is out, the minute that it's even remotely nice out, men are taking their shirt off, and they're often like town center, which please stop. This is one of those things, you know what?
I mean, why? Why are you bothered by it? I don't understand.
Men's nipples
What about them?
are offensive.
Please.
I'll take Morris dancing, but put your shirt back on. It's not even that hot out. Number 6, we have a very integral British quirk that so many of them do, and now I do it. And that's quite simply when you're ready to go, when you're ready to leave some event or a friend's house or whatever, you slap your knees and you say, right, well, we best be off. You slap your knees and you say, well, better be going. You slap your knees and say, wow, is that the time? We should get a move on. There's something.
I seen that on TV. That's funny. That's a polite way. Okay, I got to get out of here.
Why does this feel familiar? Like this thing which she's describing feels familiar. I don't know. I never noticed it. Like, oh, that, you know, we do it, but just sound it resonates.
How we do it?
I don't know.
How we do it is like, all right, I won't hold you. Gotta go.
I feel like my father does something like that too.
My dad does a inhale. I guess it's time. I'm not gonna. The person call my dad, and his response, well, I'm not gonna hold you. The person called you. I mean, they're taking time to talk to you, and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna hold you. You wanna get off the phone?
Yeah, this resonates. Okay.
But slapping
That's
the knees, that
funny.
is so.
Yeah.
It's so integral to British culture. And I know so many people do it without thinking. I do it now.
Me, I'm terrible at that. I let people go on and on and
I
on and on.
think-
I'm like, damn,
I think
let me
so
go.
too. Yeah, it's without thinking, because I never, up until this moment in my life, I never thought about it. Now that she said it, it really just feels familiar.
You kind of do it. You kind of like, okay,
No,
and
but
then you
she's
kinda,
saying something specific to slap your knees. We're talking about that, not just about ending conversation. It's about slapping your knees and like, all right, time to go. Like, I feel like my father does that. I don't slap my knee. I can wrap the conversation up real quick. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I
I
say, all right,
can't.
time is money. I ain't got the
I
time.
can't. And the person just holding me. They holding me
thinking. And
hostage.
to be fair, it is a really great like visual cue. Like, you don't want to be rude or awkward, but you are kind of being awkward, that you want to leave, but you don't know how to say that. You can't just come out and say, okay, I think we need to go now. You have to do the knee slap. Everybody respects the knee slap. It's just wonderful. I love it. Is it weird?
That's funny.
A little bit. I think that's fair to say. It's a little bit weird, but I think it's great. Number 7 of weird things Brits do, and it has to do with how they treat people. Now, this is very confusing if you come from a country where this is not done, but let me explain. Sometimes you will find when a British person is very polite to somebody, you know, lots of manners, very polite, very friendly, they hate that person and they despise them. On the other hand, sometimes when you hear a British person calling another person every name under the sun, it means that they love them. The banter in this country is unbelievable. And this sort of like banter among friends can be really confusing.
Yeah,
I
this
remember
can
my
be
first job
the-
here in the UK, I was working in an office, and you really learn about social dynamics in an office, let me tell you. And if you come from a country that doesn't do that, it can be really alarming. There have been situations, honestly, I'll admit it, where maybe at work.
I think Lithuania is also similar a little bit. Yeah, we kind of mean to each other when we're friends.
Somebody says something that's like really mean to me, and I'm just like, oh my God, they hate me. This is it. I have to leave England. These people hate me. And then someone has to say, no, they like you. That's why they're doing it. It's banter. You're one of the group, right? You're part of the gang. But let me tell you, it is devastating. I will say, now that I've lived in England for over 7 years, when someone is really polite to me, I get worried. Because in your head, you're like, oh my God, do they hate me?
I mean, if it's a stranger polite, I don't think so. But if it's someone like in your circle that's polite, and I think that person just doesn't view you as close friend.
Yeah.
I don't hate me. Maybe is a strong word. I don't know for UK. Speaking from like Lithuania, I think if they're like overly polite, they might not like you, like not consider like, you know, oh, you're my friend, but that doesn't mean like they hate you. Because hate is like, I feel like if they hate you, they like, they're not gonna fuck with you at all. So
Why are they being so polite? Number 8 on our list, is it your birthday? Oh my God, happy birthday. You bring in treats. So one thing that I found quite surprising, whenever I would arrive at the office, I'm coming in, maybe my bus had been late, not surprising, and there'd be treats out. There'd be little cakes, maybe, you know, the little Tesco, you can get like those little miniature cakes, maybe some cupcakes, maybe some biscuits, and you're like, ooh, whose birthday is it? And it was always that person who brought in the treats. On the flip side, when I was working in Canada, I was actually at a school. So these are two like school office environments. In Canada though, if we knew it was going to be one of the teachers' birthdays or whatever, we would bring in the treats.
So if it's your birthday.
Saying that though, also participating in a kitty or in the kitty, a kitty would come around the office in England and you'd put in a couple of pounds towards a present for the birthday person. So the birthday person brings in their own treats, but at least our office, we would have a kitty with that would go towards a gift for them as well. And if your office is big enough, like we had a decent amount of people in the office, it was always somebody's birthday. There were cakes out more often than not. For number 9, weird things.
How I remember is like if there's like multiple birthdays, they just do it together.
Honestly, I don't know about this bird. I can't say how it is, who brings the treats. Like in the school, like as a kid, you know, elementary school, because middle school you wouldn't do that, but elementary school, if my birthday, my grandma would bring a cake. If that says anything, you know, I don't know. It wouldn't be like, oh, the teacher or like other students bring a cake. So, but that's about as much as I can. I don't recall like a specific thing like compared to here.
British people do that they think is normal. Can you guess? I hope you can't. And if you can guess, that's really weird. But it is, in fact, how they say goodbye. All right, it was so nice talking to you. See you later. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. See ya. Bye. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. I love how drawn out the goodbyes are.
I feel like I've seen these in the movies.
I thought they were being extra.
No, I've seen that in the movies, but I swear that was like American movies. I don't remember the British. Maybe it's British. I don't remember now.
You sometimes see it in person, sometimes you hear it on the phone. I love it. How many times do you say goodbye when you're trying
you know what someone said to me that was weird? I was waving bye and they were walking away and they turn around and say, "Why are you still waving?" Because you're leaving and saying goodbye.
It's a conversation. Count next time. If you would like to watch more videos, which would be totally awesome.
Interesting video, a little different. We've never done anything like this. And this was interesting. Okay. Some interesting things we learned.
Okay, guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.